welcome to Chopped Greens. I'm your host, Philip Amrine, and let's go around the table, gentlemen. Start with you, sir.
My name is Gary Boucher, movie connoisseur and winner of the 2017 NBA Bracket Challenge.
Well, that's very cocky of you, sir. And to my right...
I'm Luke Wright, the sports guy, and I'm hyped as right now.
All right, there's my first beep right there. All right. And I am, of course, the actual 2017 Bracket Challenge winner.
Ooh,
Or at least the NBA version.
Not the last one,
That's right.
Oof.
Only because I did not freaking pick Oregon. That's the only reason. There's no Oregon in this tournament
But
challenge.
you did pick Alaska to go live there, is what I heard.
We don't talk about that anymore, Gary, because I have learned to move forward and move on with my life. I've put the past in the past, as Lion King once said.
The audience might notice that I, Luke Wright, did not declare myself the winner. You guys will find out when we go through the brackets later on.
Just how much of a winner he was.
Luke,
Okay.
his bracket speaks for itself.
It speaks Chinese is what it speaks.
The kids are hot.
All right. Actually, let's start this whole thing out properly. Let's introduce what we are doing. We are coming together as a meeting of the minds, and we are all NBA connoisseur lovers. We all love the NBA. We have all been on and off watching this whole season. So we, Gary, Luke, and Philip, we will all be putting our big minds together to give you, the audience, the skinny on how it's going to turn out. And we each have a bracket that I will post later on in the Chopped Greens page, so that way you too can follow what's going on. What's essentially going to happen is we are all going to go through the entire NBA playoffs, go and pick out the winners, pick out how many games that series will go, and by the end of it all, there will be one winner, one middleman, and one big loser. I'm not looking at either one of you too long because it might just be me. So let's go down the line. The winner gets to pick the punishment, and we have agreed to the following set of punishments. The winner gets to choose among three. One, he gets to choose that the loser must do a black face mask, which I've heard is excruciatingly painful. Are you looking forward to that, Gary?
I'm looking forward to exfoliating my face, yes.
Fantastic. I love it. The second choice is nails. They will be forced to paint their nails.
That'd be lousy.
Or do something with... That would be lousy. Paint or do something with the loser's nails. Luke, are you prepared to get pretty pink glitter on your nails?
Honestly, out of the three, that's the one I would probably mind the least.
It's the least consequential.
So,
okay.
I'll man through.
right.
I don't really care.
And the asterisk we put with that is that it is a minimum that you must wear that at a week.
I'll wear it for a month.
Yeah.
Oh, Ooh,
I'm not committing
we have that
to
on
that.
record.
I'm not committing to that right now.
Record.
But
All
the
right.
kids are hot, so I'm going to be wearing them.
Yeah.
Terrence Ross is going to save Luke's nails, is what he's saying.
Oh, well, hold on. And then the last punishment up for grabs is waxing one item on the loser's body that is video friendly, because we will be posting a video of the loser's punishment.
Yes.
And by the end of the playoffs, after it's all said and done, once the championship is held up in the air, the Larry O'Brien Trophy and Bill Russell gives the MVP to
Kevin Durant.
LeBron. But we'll get to that in all good time, gentlemen. All good time. So, which do you guys want to start out with? The Western or the Eastern Conference? One more thing. Our scoring. So we are going to go round by round, starting with the first round, then moving on to the conference semifinals, conference finals, and of course the NBA finals. For each matchup, if you get the winner correct, you will get a point in the first round. In the conference semifinals, that moves up to 2 points. Conference finals moves up to 3. Finally, the NBA finals is a whopping 4 points. Now, again, for each matchup, we are going to put individually, we're going to put the amount of games we think it will take for that series to be over, regardless of teams. Because if you happen to get the conference semifinals wrong, but yet you still have it in 6 games, regardless of the teams, you get a half a point for every time you get that set of games right. And we're hoping that will be enough of a tiebreaker. If not, maybe we'll just throw in an MVP or something. We'll have to think of a final tiebreaker in case that those half a points don't do it. But moving on. Luke, why don't you decide for us? Which do you think is more interesting for the viewer, Eastern or Western Conference Finals?
Well, I'm going to be way too hyped by the end of the Eastern one to continue.
So
a little foreshadowing for the listener. Let's start with the West.
Excellent. I enjoy a good one. So, Gary, the first matchup we have, which was finally settled tonight, we've got the Warriors versus the Blazers. Who do you got?
I have the Warriors sweeping that series.
So in four games, the Warriors take out the Blazers.
The Blazers are kind of hot. They had a really rough start to the season, and they had a nice ending after the All-Star break. Barely squeaked in there. They have a good little bit of momentum, but they're going up against a juggernaut, and I think that as good as a fight that Damian Lillard might put up some good numbers, I don't think Portland's going to have much luck at all against them.
I'm with Gary. Warriors in 4. I was kind of considering maybe going 5. Maybe Damian goes off for 50, 60 points in the game. He just did it like a week ago. But in the end, there's no way they win the series.
No.
Miles Leonard!
I would be shocked if they even won the one game.
All right, I'm going with the Warriors, of course. In 5 games, I'm saying a gentleman's sweep. I respect Damian Lillard too much to be fully swept, and I'm also accounting that Kevin Durant will be a little rusty in the playoffs. They'll all be trying to figure out that chemistry.
They don't need Kevin Durant to be on top of his game. They can handle it.
He had like 23 points in 15 minutes tonight.
Yeah, I'm still thinking that chemistry and playoff intensity, they might say, whose turn is it? Whose ball is it? Take the final shot. I mean, in Portland, they have that settled down. I'm just giving them one game. Let's not get too out of hand here.
Will they need that final shot?
Goodness, Phil.
What if CJ and Damian both go off and Clay and Steph are cold? I could see it being needed.
Miles Leonard.
What if Kyle Lowry goes off for a couple games?
All right, we'll get there later. Stop foreshadowing. There's no teases in this podcast game. All right, next matchup, gentlemen, we have Clippers and Jazz.
This is a really good one.
This one was so hard.
This was exceptionally hard. That was just decided tonight which would have home field advantage. That the home court advantage goes to the Clippers, we decided tonight. Gary, your analysis?
I have no disrespect to the Jazz. I have the Clippers in 6. And I'm saying that the Jazz obviously exploded this year onto the scene, but the Clippers have been there. They're a great first round team. Obviously, once it gets past the first round, they usually can't do anything. But I think that just because of that experience of that team, the Jazz haven't been there for a while. It's Gordon Hayward's first time, I think.
Right. And he's often injury prone. Let us not forget how injury prone that entire Jazz lineup is. They've been all injured at one point or another.
Yeah. I think that LA steps up and takes it in 6.
Luke, right?
I have Clippers as well, but I have them in 7.
Okay.
I was really back and forth with this one. Just because I think Gobert and Jordan, I think Gobert kind of edges out Jordan a little bit.
Okay.
I think Gobert can do a little bit more on the offensive side.
Well, really, let's be honest here. DeAndre Jordan is limiting himself at those free throws.
Yeah.
That is just his ultimate weakness. That is his ultimate kryptonite. And really, he doesn't have an outside shot. Not that he's required to, but just at least Gobert can hit half a free throw, where DeAndre's, I forget what he's
at like 40-something%.
40. It's god awful.
I could do better.
I think a lot of people could do better.
And I think whoever had gotten home court was going to win. That's why I did in 7. Clippers are going to get it because they have the home court.
I, too, gentlemen, have the Clippers, but like Gary, I've got it in 6 games, and unlike Gary, total disrespect to the Jazz. There is no respect here for the Jazz. All right, moving on. Luke, why don't you start us off on this one, because I know you're a little heated.
Kids are hot.
Rockets and Thunder, the 3rd and the 6th seed. Who are you giving it to?
I got Rockets in 6, fam.
Ooh.
I love Westbrook. He's the MVP in my opinion.
Don't forget about Steven Adams.
I don't know what that is.
It's a New Zealand accent. He's a great defender on the interior.
I think that the Rockets are gonna be hot. They don't have a
So
number
you're saying
2.
the entire team's going to be hot, or just James Harden?
The entire team.
Okay.
I think the problem / bright side with Houston is they don't have a second scorer per se.
Okay.
They don't have a true Robin to James Harden being Batman.
Though you're just saying that the entire rest of that roster
The whole team shares the Robin. So I think that's great when you're going up against a Thunder team who also has a Batman with no Robin.
Well, but the difference, of course, is that the Rockets, the entire roster complements James Harden.
Exactly.
As opposed to the style of the Thunder does not really
which is really
benefit
Westbrook saying, who can I get the ball to this time? Because everything's always haywire and it relies on me. So in the end, I think that the Rockets will scrape it out, especially with that 3-point shooting. They'll be able to take it in 6, I think.
All right, I debated on this on being a real sweep or a gentleman's sweep. I'm going also with the Rockets, but in 5.
5.
I've got 5.
Wow.
Westbrook's gonna show up at your house, dude. You better watch
I bet
out.
he'll run there. he plays with his hair on fire. He is a non-stop Energizer Bunny.
Yeah.
But that does not help it when you have no assistance. And I really do think that the Rockets will be pumped up for their first series. They're going to just kind of go down in voltage from here on out. But the Rockets, I really don't see any way that they lose more than 2 games. I'm going with the Rockets in 5. Gary, to close us out, Rockets, Thunder.
Rockets in 6.
Okay, so you're setting for Luke on this one.
Kind of the same thing.
The right side.
Westbrook.
I see what you did there. You should copyright that.
Had a great season, like one of the best, arguably, like because of the context of the athleticism in today's game, arguably like the best personal season ever.
Excessively arguable.
But his team still won less than 50 games. Like that just shows you can average a triple-double and your team is still just like a good team, not anything past that. And the Rockets are like a great team in these playoffs.
Of course, I mean, just look at the seeding, 3 versus 6.
Yeah. So
and it's too bad that we can't push back the MVP race to after this series, because I really feel that will etch in history whether or not Russell Westbrook deserved it or not.
It's a regular season award. I don't think they should push it back. And actually, they kind of... Oh, no, the ballot is still the same. They just push back when they announce it.
Yep. Correct.
But yeah, it's a regular season award, so I don't think that it should play a factor in it.
All right, speed round, gentlemen. Spurs and Grizzlies. Luke, you've got...
Spurs 5.
I've got Spurs in 5.
Spurs in 5.
All right. So as long as the Grizzlies don't take that out.
Grizzlies 1 in 4. That's going to happen.
Memphis every year is always puts up a fight, but never actually does anything consequential to anybody. So.
Well, they took out the Clippers the 2 years in a row, and that was consequential for me and my love of the whipping boy of the Clippers. All right, so we'll move to the first round on the eastern side of the bracket.
This is interesting.
The eastern side is a little bit more juicy. I think that's really going to help us determine who wins and who loses on this side. Let's start at the top. Gary, Boston and Chicago series. That got solidified here.
I'm gonna give Chicago 2 games, as in Boston.
Whoa.
Boston wins in 6.
Okay.
But Chicago is a city full of heart, and Boston is a team that I don't think is like incredible. I think that D Wade's experience and Jimmy Butler's presence factors into that, but I still think Boston takes it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is Jimmy Butler's first time in the playoffs?
No. He's been there.
He's been there quite a few times.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's been there all but 1 year.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's gone up against LeBron and had great series against huge teams.
Okay.
That was his coming out party, was how he locked down LeBron, but they still ended up losing the series.
Correct. All right, Luke, Boston, Chicago.
I have Celtics. I have them in 5. I think the Bulls will pull one out.
Yeah.
Same here, 5 games. And Gary, you said how many? I'm sorry,
I
6?
said 6.
Okay.
Yes.
So a little bit of difference there. Nobody sees it going 7. However, the next series, Wizards and Atlanta. Gary.
Once again, 6-game series. These are all kind of tough to call because they could, one team could not show up. One team could super exceed expectations. Washington is the better team. Got them in 6.
Luke.
Literally exact same thing. I have Wizards in 6.
Ditto, Wizards in 6.
Dang.
All right,
Antetokounmpo's not ready to carry them by himself.
Antetokounmpo!
He cannot.
Wait. We haven't gone to Milwaukee yet.
We haven't gone to Milwaukee.
Oh, my bad. This is the Hawks.
Yes.
Do you still
just
have
kidding.
Wizards in 6 for that?
Yes,
series?
I do.
Okay.
I still have Wizards in 6. I don't think anybody on the Hawks can carry that team.
No, Dwight Howard, come on.
I'm sorry. You know what? I'm changing my pick on air. I got Wizards in 5.
Whoa, a little improvisation.
Solidify it.
It's solidified.
I'm going.
All right. It's set in stone, though. We will have a sound clip should you try and recount.
Wizards in 5 games.
All right, I'll start out this one. Toronto and Milwaukee. I've got Toronto. I got the Raptors in 6 games. Kyle Lowry makes a return a little earlier in the regular season, and I think that he's fully healthy, ready, that they're hungry and willing and able to get past. Even though Giannis is a beast, I just don't see them having enough firepower, even with Jabari and Giannis, the Raptors, with that home field advantage.
Is Jabari even in it? Didn't he get hurt again this year?
I'm not sure.
Well, this is awkward.
This is
We got
awkward.
3 NBA people.
Better find out.
This is.
I could have sworn that he had torn his ACL yet again.
Wow, that is a big blow.
Let's check Dr. Google.
Let's check Dr. Google. While Gary's checking that out, Luke, who do you got? Toronto, Milwaukee.
I have Raptors in 6 as I just mistakenly blurted out in the last one.
Correct.
I just don't think Giannis is enough, and I think while he has some good supporting pieces right now.
Yeah, Jabari's ACL's torn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So especially with Jabari out, Chris Middleton's a good piece. They've been playing a lot better since he's come back. I don't think it's enough to get by the Raptors.
Good overall season for the Bucks, but
it's going to end here. Hopefully they can. I think they're just one real good player away from being able to start making a deep run.
Just a real quick aside while Gary fills something out. Would you trade Giannis head up for anybody outside of Anthony Davis? Is he that now number 3 guy that we kind of all expect to be the next big thing?
I would think that's a fair thing to say.
Mm-hmm. Kevin Durant maybe, but Kevin
Durant's kind of on that fringe where you might not necessarily pick him to start a franchise anymore.
Right.
Yeah, we're old.
Yeah.
We're old.
Yeah.
I remember back when it was LeBron was always number 1.
Oh, heads out. But LeBron still might be because you're guaranteed at least in that scenario in a fantasy draft, you're gonna get that first title. Anyways, now that we're all settled here, Gary, now that you're Nutella'd out, Toronto, Milwaukee.
I just did a little bit of research after finding out that Jabari is in fact out. I bumped it down from Toronto to 6 to Toronto in 5.
Oh, again another live
Toronto is a team that can get real hot. Milwaukee is a team that's barely above 500.
One thing to consider too that 6th game is in the opposing team's court. Does that change your mindset whatsoever? I think teams, personally, I think that they like to close out series at their home court.
Raptors learned from last year. They want to end series as soon as possible.
Yeah.
They won't let it get to a game 7.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Moving on really fast here. I think anybody outside of here. 3, 2, 1. Cavs. 4.
5.
Okay. So I'm sorry. I'm the only one who predicted a sweep. Shame on you, Luke. Shame on you for dropping your pencil. But anyways, I put Cavs in a sweep. I don't think Paul George, who's somewhat lackadaisical in his coverage, I don't see him being able to overcome LeBron.
I think the only reason I don't put a sweep is because Cleveland is kind of limping into these playoffs, so they might need
it's
a little bit of a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So you both are putting your faith in that it's a bad Cavaliers as opposed to a good Pacers.
Exactly.
I think it's mostly bad Cavs. Yeah. I do think that Paul George will go absolutely crazy one game, drop 30 to 40, and I think they'll be able to pull out a game in Indy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially with Lance Stevenson back there and playing. He's playing some solid ball now that he's back with the Pacers. And I also I want to see him. I want to see him and LeBron.
Yeah,
LeBron won't care at all, but Lance will make it entertaining.
The only thing that'll blow this year is LeBron blowing right past Lance Stevenson straight to the conference semifinals. All right, so gentlemen, now we're kind of going a little off script because we each have different teams. So let's start at the top. I think we all picked the Clippers. So Warriors, Clippers. Everybody, what is on the Western side? Now we're talking conference semifinals. Yeah. Warriors, Clippers, Gary, who do you got and how many games?
Golden State in 5.
Okay.
I have Golden State in 6.
And I have Golden State in 4.
Oh, wow.
Goodness,
you think they'll get swept?
Sweeping through the playoffs.
I want those Clippers to be swept so bad. They have their number. I forgot which regular season game it was, but Steph was out, and I think Kevin Durant was out, and they still destroyed them. Still destroyed them.
Was that also a game where Paul and Blake were out? Because they were out huge portions of the season.
I want to say Paul was out.
Okay.
Not Blake as well. Blake was back, but they still got in all their regular season games this year they got demolished. I just have no faith. I think that is a complete and utter mismatch for the teams, and that the Warriors are going to take them out. All right, moving on. We all had Rockets and Spurs.
Yeah.
All right, so Luke, how many games?
The kids are hot. The Rockets are winning in 7.
Oh my God.
That's giving some good respect to the Spurs, though. Gary?
I have San Antonio in 6. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
Growing up, I was a giant Suns fan. Coach of the Suns was Mike D'Antoni, who had his number every single time that they lost.
Oh.
Greg Popovich.
Oh!
Greg Popovich has Mike D'Antoni figured out. We could hardly ever beat the Spurs in a
Wow,
series.
this is an excellent point by you guys. This is probably your best point you've ever had, movies and beyond.
Wow, thank you so much.
I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but enjoy it.
The Rockets have this huge high-octane offense, just like the Suns did every single year, and Greg Popovich just comes in, picks them apart every year like the cutting butter.
I think there's a big difference, though.
What's that?
The Suns, who were their star players?
We got Steve Nash.
Yeah.
and
You
Marcus
had
Stoudemire.
you had a pure point guard and a big man running pick and roll in 7 seconds or less.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not what the Rockets are doing.
That's true. It's not
The
same
Rockets are
offense.
doing a completely. They're still
Yeah.
trying to do the whole. I think they're doing more 10 seconds or less rather than 7 seconds or
And
less.
Harden is the best scorer and the best passer on that team.
But
too.
there's a. I
it's like
think
a hybrid.
I understand
Steve
what
Nash
you're
2.0.
saying. Yeah, and Popovich is just always a great coach, no matter what.
Yeah.
He's one of those people you should probably give Coach of the Year to every year,
Seriously.
but they won't do it. But I do think that will be a big difference. It's not just Nash and Stoudemire playing pick and roll with support players. It's now Harden with a bunch of support players.
Yeah.
So I do think that there will be a significant enough difference
Gotcha.
to where his history with the Suns might not necessarily guarantee a repeat.
But Luke, so are you saying that the Rockets win because of good Rockets or good Spurs? Or, excuse me, bad Spurs?
I think it will be good Rockets. I think they'll be riding high after beating the MVP. I think that they'll still have enough in the tank to where it will be a gutty battle, but I think they'll be able to pull it out. The Spurs will never not be the Spurs,
Right.
But, barring Patty Mills dropping 30 every game, which to be fair might happen.
Danny Green could go off.
It's just
Patty Mills could
different.
go
Like
off, yeah.
Danny Green's had an alright season, but he's still more of a defensive player who can hit threes. You're seeing, Kawhi is great. He is technically a dark horse for MVP, although I don't think anyone really expects him to win it.
No.
But LaMarcus hasn't been that great. Powell's kind of he's been limping into the postseason. I'm pretty sure he's been hurt a couple times to finish the year. So I think that.
But to be fair with the Spurs, is anybody really hurt, or are they just saying he's hurt?
I know. I think Powell was really hurt because Popovich is always upfront about it. Popovich always says, "Yeah, I'm just resting him because he's old." So I do think that the Spurs they're not gonna be the same Spurs that we've always seen. So I think the Rockets will be able to come out, and I think they'll be able to get the win after 7 games. And my bold prediction is Eric Gordon averages 23 points that series.
Write it down, put it in stone.
Might as well.
You said 7 games, right? Because I thought
7.
earlier you said 6.
7.
7 games.
And you said 6.
I have
in
San Antonio in
San
six.
Antonio. I'll break the tie here. San Antonio in 6 as well. Me and Gary on the same wavelength as so far. I just think superior coaching is going to play into
Mike
this.
D'Antoni's never been like the most excellent playoff coach.
No, and even though he's got a new hairstyle, he's still the same man, just a little older.
Still got the stash.
Still got a rock.
How can you get rid of that stash, though?
That's eternal.
So the conference finals looks a little bit different just in our second team. But let's move over to the eastern side of the bracket. We all picked Boston and the Wizards. So let's start out with Gary. Boston Wizards, how many games? Who wins, Gary?
Washington plays up. Boston is not exposed, but has a really tough time, but pulls it out in 7 games.
So you're saying
That's going to be a great series, by the way.
You're saying Celtics?
Boston Celtics in 7
Okay, so they
games.
win in home court.
Yeah,
Game
it's
7.
going to be like really gritty, some good classic Eastern Conference in-your-face basketball.
I don't know what it is, but I always enjoy a Game 7 on the Celtics floor.
It's just something feels so
It's
retro
such a
and
heritage
classic
thing.
about
Anything
it, yeah.
about those conference playoff moments that go win or go home in Boston, whether it be the Red Sox, Celtics, even sometimes the Patriots when it's like really cold and everybody's just, you can see them breathing. I just really enjoy a playoff game in Boston. Luke, goes to you, Boston Wizards.
Wizards in 6. John Wall is hot, and I've been riding this bandwagon for like the last 4 years.
He has.
Through thick and thin. Gary remembers on a senior trip, the first year.
Bradley Beal?
Yeah, first year of Beal, it was like Wall's coming out party in the playoffs. They had won their first series, and I was on our senior bus going back home, and I was raving about the Wizards. I was hyped for them then, and I'm hyped for them now.
The boys are hot.
The boys are hot, and the Wizards win in 6.
Well, I don't know how hot they'll be, but it'll take 7 games, and the Wizards will pull it out.
Ooh,
And
2 against 1 here. All right.
Yes. This is where you and me differ, Gary. So, Wizards or Boston, that might help determine.
Do you think Isaiah Thomas shows up in that series or not?
I like John Wall's size to Isaiah. I don't know if defense.
I think there's a possibility for Isaiah to shoot himself out of every game.
Yeah.
Isaiah will still average 20 to 30 points a game,
Unlike how
but
many
he's
shots.
going to be shooting like 30% with like 30 shots.
Yeah.
And let's also admit to this that most in the regular season, most of his stats that have been so spectacular that put him into the MVP discussion were happening in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to acknowledge that the playoffs and the regular season are 2 complete separate beasts.
Yeah.
You're not training and putting in practices for one specific team like in the regular season as you are in the playoffs. So when I think that teams get playoff game and footage of the Celtics and they actually focus on stopping Isaiah Thomas, especially in the fourth quarter, with a size advantage going to John Wall.
Yeah.
I really think that matchup's
John
going
Wall's the better player, I think.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, John Wall will play defense if he needs to.
Yeah.
I think
Isaiah won't.
Wall could shut down Isaiah. Isaiah just doesn't have the size.
What you're
to shut
hoping
down
for
John
is that we're hoping that Isaiah's scoring will neutralize John Wall's effect, not the other way around. John Wall, you trust in, hopefully, and that he can minimize. It's a given that he's going to try and minimize Isaiah, and not the reverse. So, anyways, we're going.
And also, just real quick to put a bow on it, who are the Celtics going to go to when Isaiah is in a rut?
Taken out.
Al Horford, Jay Crowder, no one. They don't have that secondary bona fide 20-point-a-night scorer.
How dare you disrespect Kelly Olynyk, sir?
Yeah,
How dare you.
Kelly's Gonzaga might have
He
just
pulled
won the
Kevin
national
Love's
title, but
arm out
that's
of
it.
socket, and he'll do it to Bradley Beal too.
But but I could see. Try to talk right now. The Wizards have Bradley Beal. Otto Porter's been showing some potential.
Yes, he has.
Marcin Gortat has shown flashes when he was throughout his career. He's not going to put up 20 a night.
He's had some
but
big playoff moments.
a good interior player.
So like you have backups with the Wizards. You don't see that with the Celtics as much.
Right, and really, if you go with Boston, I think that part of that is just the coaching. You got to believe in Brad Stevens. Okay, moving to the bottom half, we all have Toronto and the Cavs. All right, let's start with Gary. We'll start out with Gary. Go to me. How many games? Who wins here, Gary?
This is going to be a 7-game series.
Interesting.
This is going to be a battle, just like the other series is going to be a battle. This one's going to be a little bit more flashier, not as gritty, but this is going to be... The King is going to pull through. The King is going to pull through in 7 games. Win that last game at home in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. Those are my thoughts.
I'll go next. I don't think it's going to be as nitty-gritty. I kind of foresee what we saw last year in this series. I see it going 6 games only because the Cavs will need to work out their chemistry. And as we saw last year where LeBron sacrificed a game in lieu of chemistry and getting Kevin Love associated back in, I think he's going to do that again with trying to incorporate Darren Williams now.
What about PJ?
Yes, PJ
What are you going to do when
Tucker.
PJ walks on the floor?
When PJ Tucker tries to take out the Kang, he will see just what LeBron's been resting up to do. And I see Luke rearing to go. What do you have to say?
Let him
here?
loose, man.
The kids are f***ing hot, fam. The kids are hot. PJ Tucker is one of the most high-energy players ever. And he has never played in a playoff series like this. And he was specifically sought after for this exact moment. The Toronto Raptors looked at their roster and they said, who the hell is going to stop LeBron James on this roster? And you know who they decided on? No one. You know who can? PJ Tucker. Because he does it every time. He always at least slows down LeBron.
Guys, do you hear that? Do you hear that? That's Drake somewhere clapping.
Yeah. Drake, hit me up. We'll go together, fam.
You know what? I will give it to you. The Cleveland is vulnerable right now.
They are.
Toronto's going to be going full force.
How dare you,
if they can
Gary?
get
Don't
Cleveland,
you give him a dang thing.
I put it at 7 games. I think that means it's a toss-up, honestly.
That
I put
is
it at
so
7.
incredibly disrespectful to the Cavs.
Well, the Cavs have disrespected everyone by going less than 500.
It's the regular season, Gary.
Raptors-
It means nothing.
Momentum.
Momentum means
playoffs.
poo-poo.
Raptors will win in 7 behind PJ slowing down LeBron enough.
He's slowing
behind
himself, is what
DeMar just
Carroll.
driving in and getting layup after layup with a bunch of free throws. Kyle Lowry will facilitate the offense and hit those threes in mid-range, and Ibaka's going to lock down the paint.
So is Kyle Lowry going to pout and go to the locker room this time too, or is that
He
just...
probably will after like game 1 or 2,
Right.
when it's still kind of up in the air. But he's gonna come back.
He's a great
He's gonna
point
come
guard
back and he's gonna kill it.
Irving, Lowry, that's awesome.
Yeah, so you said 7 games, correct?
Raptors in 7.
So
What do you got?
which home game are they winning? Which home game are the Toronto Raptors winning? Or excuse me, road game for them. Which road game are the Raptors winning?
Well, they would have to win at least one road
That's
game
what
in
I'm
game
saying.
7.
That's what I'm asking. Which one?
Probably maybe game 7. I could see them winning. Well, obviously they'd have to win game 7.
Of course.
I could also see them stealing one of the first 2. The Cavs are going to come in after playing the Pacers,
Right.
so they're not exactly going to be in tip-top game shape.
Right.
So I could see them stealing the first one. I could see them maybe coming back and stealing the second one. 3 and 4 will be in their home court, which, granted, in the history, they haven't had a ton of success protecting. So they'll probably lose back that game in 3 or 4. I think they'll be able to get 5 and after 5 and 6, they'll be able to tie it up 3 and 3, and then they go into Cleveland. And PJ Tucker says, "Not today, LeBron. Not today."
I'll tell you, the one point that you made that made somewhat sense is that debate on is rest a good thing or is rest a bad thing? Where in my scenario, the Cavs win against Indiana in 4 games, and I think we all agreed 6-7 for Toronto.
What do you have? You have 6?
I have 6. I think you, Luke, had 7.
7
for Toronto,
7.
Milwaukee.
No, I had 6.
6, and you, Gary, had 6.
For Toronto, Milwaukee, a 5.
Yeah, Milwaukee. So if nothing else, they're going to have a couple more games to be gaining that momentum, whereas the Cavs will somewhat, we assume, will be resting, and we don't know if that offsets chemistry, if that...
We've
does
seen this
something.
happen a lot lately, both in MLB and in basketball, and even in football with the wild card. We've seen this a lot the last 10 years.
The team that rests.
Home court advantage
Gets
doesn't mean
rusty.
as much, and the teams that have that bigger break, they get upset. They're more and more upsets with it. So I'm just saying, Cavs aren't as foolproof as everyone likes to say.
Oh.
This is the year that they prove that LeBron isn't the king anymore.
LeBron is no longer the king, he's the emperor. All right, now we move on to the Western Conference Finals, where we all disagree on the conference finals second seed. We all have the Warriors, and it's either against the Spurs for Gary and Philip or the Rockets for Luke. I will start out. I think that this is a 7-game series, and I think it's going to go, make no mistake about it, to the Warriors. I don't think any of us can really debate that. I mean, like I said, it really what we're looking at is the only team, if in fact, well, I'll let you get on your pedestal here, Luke, but the Rockets are the only team that has a shot of actually dethroning the Warriors. Go ahead.
Maybe I'm the only one. I don't have it a 7-game.
Oh no?
I have it 6.
Warriors?
I have Warriors in 6
Against the Rockets.
against the Rockets.
Yep.
Okay.
Rockets are just going to be way too tired. I think after playing a 7-game series against the Spurs,
And then
after
through OKC.
yeah, they are going to be too tired to be able to make it to a game 7.
So essentially, the winner of the Rockets Spurs, you think, is going to be too tired, regardless.
yeah,
Because
even if it's the Spurs, I think the Spurs would actually, if they do win, I think they'd have a better shot at forcing a game 7. But in the end, I just don't think that the Rockets have enough. At that point, James Harden's going to be run down from scoring 50 points a night, which is probably a slight exaggeration, very slight. Eric Gordon already had his series averaging 23 points a game against the Spurs. You can put it in your stat tracker right now. So I just think they won't have enough push to be able to get through. I think they'll probably win maybe their 2 home games, or maybe they'll be able to win a home game and an away game.
Right.
With maybe the Warriors sleeping a little bit. I don't think it will be a competitive 6 games, to be honest.
Oh.
I think you're going to look at the Rockets getting a couple good wins and the Warriors getting a couple good wins. I don't think we see any crazy buzzer beaters or anything super dramatic.
Gary, your Western Conference Finals is Warriors Spurs. How many games who wins?
Golden State wins in 7 games.
Okay,
in
so
mine,
we're aligned in there.
I agree with Luke. The Spurs tend to usually play up, and I think that the Spurs give them a run for their money. The Spurs are still like a world-class team, world-class coach, but this is like one of the greatest teams ever assembled when they're all healthy. And if they're all healthy, Golden State will pull it out.
I think it's ironic that really the winner of the Rockets-Spurs series had a technically bad draw because whoever it is had to face who they just faced and then the Warriors. So
yeah.
Regardless, the Spurs don't want to see... Nobody wants to see in the playoffs the Rockets, and nobody in the playoffs wants to see the Spurs because either team is a feisty team. So then the fact that they have to play each other means that the Warriors
Spurs
only have to face one of them.
Houston is kind of like a loose cannon, but the Spurs are just like clockwork.
I'll give you this, Luke, that if the Rockets make it to the conference finals, I think that that's the only team outside of another team in the East that has a chance of taking out the Warriors, because when they're hot, their hot is as good as a run as the Warriors are capable of.
I think the biggest thing that shaped the entire course of the season, and it's going to be very obvious, so let me flesh out the whole point.
Right.
Was Kevin Durant going to the Warriors for 2 reasons. One, that was the decision that solidified who was the MVP. Durant leaving the Thunder and going to the Warriors basically paved the way for Westbrook to basically have his own team and to average the triple-double. He's not averaging a triple-double with Durant still.
No, he's not.
So I think that was the thing that did that. And the second kind of ripple effect was it made the Warriors a 6th seed. It made the Warriors not bad enough to be an 8th seed. Yes, sorry, the Thunder.
I was like,
yeah, sorry, my bad, everybody. It made the Thunder a 6th seed,
right?
Because it made sure the Thunder with Westbrook were not bad enough to be an 8th seed, and they weren't good enough to break into the 5th or 4th seed. And so I think what you see now is we get a bottom half of the bracket that looks great with the Rockets, Thunder, and Spurs all in it. But just imagine if the Thunder had that one extra piece that got them to be a 5th or 4th seed and they faced the Warriors in the second round.
They took the Warriors to 7 games last year, almost won. Their finals game.
And to see Westbrook going against Durant that year, or imagine this: they don't get Oladipo, or they have one less piece, or one person gets hurt, and the Thunder drop down to the 8th seed, and again we see Warriors Thunder playoff match. That if either of those two things could have happened, and obviously they weren't going to happen, but if they had moved up or down, I don't think the Warriors are able to get through. I think they would have been so spent after having to play Russell Westbrook and the Thunder. I don't think that they would have been able to make it to the finals.
Oh, that's interesting.
You think that's they would have beaten the Thunder, but then someone else...
I think they would have beaten the Thunder in like 7. Yeah. Westbrook would probably legitimately average like a 50-point triple-double. Not even as a joke. Like, he could have probably pulled off a 50-point triple-double. And then what do? It would have been so much more entertaining. Obviously, this is just a huge hypothetical that won't happen.
No.
But that was my dream, and I've been dreaming this since the Durant trade. Or not signing, not trade, but I've been dreaming it.
That's your most interesting point, because as you were expounding on your point there, I thought that there's no way that the Thunder would ever win that series, whether they were a 5th, 4th seed or an 8th seed. There was no debate about that, especially if they were the 8th seed.
No, they weren't going to win.
But your point of that they would be so spent trying to cover Russell Westbrook is an interesting one, because I think we can all agree that the Clippers or Jazz are, all disrespect to them, they're not really either one a matchup problem for the Warriors. So when we go to Russell Westbrook, that's an Energizer Bunny that you need to account for when Steph Curry himself is not a lockdown defender.
No.
You're having to account for just one player. It's almost a different type of defense that you're having to swallow up on.
Who's the only guy on the Warriors who could possibly guard Westbrook? Like
Clay's the only one you could get to cover him. Iggy, what you'd have to. And even then, there's no way, especially with how old Iggy is.
Yeah.
There's no way they'd be able to lock him down. Eventually, you'd have to, just for the sake of conserving energy, bite the bullet and let Steph attempt to cover him.
Yeah.
But see, and then you get into the thing of, then not only does that make the Rockets Spurs a better matchup, because then the Rockets won't be as drained.
Right.
That means whoever's the winner of the Rockets and Spurs, they've only had to play the Rockets or Spurs. You know, Spurs would have only played the Rockets, and the Rockets would have only played the Spurs. So they wouldn't have been as tired as they are.
Yeah.
You know, the Spurs will still have that luck because they'll only have played the Rockets. But if I could have seen a Warriors Rockets matchup, but the Warriors are the ones who had to go through Westbrook and not the Rockets, I could possibly see the Rockets winning that in 7.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, for the viewers, none of that happened. That was just a thought that I had that I wanted to share with everybody. Yeah. So,
good
in
musing.
Another universe.
Good musing. So, we all agree that the Warriors make it out for the finals.
Yes. I have them in 6.
And I have them in 7.
7.
Okay. So, me and Gary are lockstep in Warriors over Spurs in 7. You have Warriors over Rockets in 6.
Yeah.
So even if it's the Rockets in 7, we all get some points.
Yeah.
All right, moving to the other side, we have again a different we have different brackets. So at the top we have we all agreed on we had Wizards and Boston. So let's go with Gary. Explain your side on the Eastern Conference Finals.
So I have Boston versus Cleveland at this point. As it always occurs in the playoffs, LeBron, he's like, oh, I'm still the best player in the world and I can turn it on whenever I want. And he steps up and he brings his team up with him. I have them beating Boston in 5.
Whoa.
In the conference finals. It's Boston has had I can't remember the exact record of the season series in between them. Boston beat them, I think, once or twice, but the other times Cleveland
destroyed them.
Handled them, except for maybe one game was close. But Cleveland can come out and run all over Boston if they want to.
Right.
And I think that this is the point in the playoffs where LeBron's like, okay, shoot, it's go time.
He's in his comfort
Everyone's
zone.
questioning my legacy like they always do, and so I'm going to have to step up and beat Boston again, and I think it happens.
To your point, LeBron loves to play in Boston now.
Yeah.
He loves to kick their booty.
Yeah.
Anytime and any chance he can.
It's like a classic throwback series, though. Boston and Cleveland, conference finals, just the same thing as 5-6 years ago.
But regardless, LeBron loves to play in Boston.
Yeah.
He understands the heritage of there, and he loves to win. Just like he's admitted before, he likes to play in New York.
Yeah.
Who would have ever thought the phrase Boston Cleveland throwback series would ever have been used in a positive light?
I think throwback to Garnett, Pierce, Allen against LeBron and a bunch of bozos.
LeBron, whoever he could get.
Yeah, LeBron, Mo Williams, and Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
Don't talk bad about Mo.
I love Zydrunas.
No, Mo Williams. I don't care about that guy.
Zydrunas is great.
All right, Luke, who's not right in this scenario? Who do you have in the Eastern Conference Finals, and who do you got going?
I have.
Oh, actually, hold on. One step back, Gary. You said 7, correct?
5 games.
5 games. That's
Cleveland and
complete opposite.
Complete opposite of what you said. I completely listened. All right, Luke, who do you got, and how many games?
I have Wizards and Raptors.
All right, how many games?
I have the Raptors winning in 7.
Okay, so it's a close match.
It's a close one. And to be honest, the more I look at it, I'm still not even fully convinced. I'm only doing it because Raptors will have Game 7 at home, and I think this is the year that they'll be able to protect home court for the most part. They just, PJ Tucker literally never runs out of energy. Ever.
Did he just run out of energy right?
No.
Oh.
He never runs out of energy.
Is he asleep right now?
Actually, me and a friend were talking about it. Do you know how many pairs of shoes that PJ Tucker goes through in a game?
2.
He goes through like 2 or 3 pairs at halftime sometimes. My friend was telling me about, he was watching some documentary. Shout out to Tanner Grind, by the way. He's a long-time listener of the past 2 weeks. And
we appreciate his patronage.
Yeah. And he was telling me about some documentary he was watching about the Suns equipment manager. And how PJ Tucker was like the worst one to get shoes for because he was going through shoes like 2 or 3 pairs like a half sometimes.
What was the reasoning behind it?
Because he doesn't run out of energy.
Oh my gosh.
He runs so hard.
In all honesty, it's because
burns holes in the soles.
In all honesty, from what I could tell and what I can remember, because we talked about this like a week ago,
right?
It's because he does play such hard defense and he just is very picky about his shoes. So he probably could shorten the amount of shoes he goes by, but he just doesn't want to. And to be honest, when you get to his level, is there any need to?
Right. When you get to his level. So when he gets knocked out in the conference semifinals,
well, he won't.
He can get.
He's going to the NBA finals.
He can get all the shoe changes he wants at home.
But I imagine think PJ Tucker, NBA Finals MVP.
Maybe I won't go that far yet. But yeah,
Raptors in 7
over
the Wizards.
PJ will play enough defense. Ibaka, thank you, Gary, for opening that Sprite.
By the way, let me just set as a total aside. Let me set the scene here for all of our listeners. We are in a true man cave, and we are
opposite of man cave if we're being honest. Right? There's mattresses.
There's a moose head right behind you.
There is a moose. Yeah. There's an inflatable moose head.
Yeah.
And we are all just sitting around, snacks abound. I am currently drinking a mini blue fierce Gatorade.
This is actually my first podcast ever with you that I haven't had like 3 beers during the podcast.
He is 21, everybody. So
there's an admission there, but all right.
I'm actually kind of sad about it. This is usually my time of the week where I get to crack open a Guinness and just
rant that way.
Yeah.
All right, here. Let me get to my playoff prediction because it's the right one. So let's get there.
I'm Mr. Right, just so the audience knows.
Yeah, wrong there.
Legally.
So Wizards and Cavs is my Eastern Conference Finals. I got to go in 6 games. The Cavs are going to take out John Wall and Bradley Beal. BB. All right, Baby Cooper will not be in attendance in that game, and the Cavs will go to the finals in 6 games. Do I need any other reason other than LeBron?
No, not after the last 2 years.
No, and especially since he's been to the finals the last 6 years in a row. That streak goes on and on and on, and it will be no different this year. It will be the trifecta. In my NBA my NBA Finals, it will be the trifecta of the Warriors and Cavs. So, again, me and Gary have the exact same finals, Warriors and Cavs
for the 3rd year in a row. This is like becoming a
just very different casts each year, even though the first year was somewhat similar in the second year, but
Cleveland
with Kyrie Irving out
victory.
And Kevin Love out, that was a very much different team.
Don't forget about Matthew Dellavedova. He scored 20 points in the finals game. Scored him a big contract 2 years later.
Yeah, now he's with the Bucks and not looking too good. Luke's the only one who's upsetting the apple cart here. He's got the Warriors as well, but facing them, he has the Raptors. Very easily could be the Wizards, though, he says. So either way, he'd be happy as long as it's not the Cavs. So essentially, if anybody besides the Cavs makes it to the Eastern Conference Finals, Luke automatically pretty much wins.
Yeah, that's a pretty good crutch for me.
Yeah,
and the Cavs are
so he's
honorable.
essentially taking the field. But
the Cavs are weak right now. They better pick it up. In the
for those of you scoring at home, Luke over here will either be really right.
Or I'm
really terribly wrong.
I'm either going to be really right, or by the time the conference finals hit, I will have already lost.
So you'll have those 2 W's, either right or wrong.
Yeah,
because
we will know the end of this bet by the time the conference finals starts.
Go big or go home.
Because if the Rockets and Raptors don't win, I'm sunk.
And for some reason, the Spurs and the, let's just say, Milwaukee wins. You are so done, it's not even funny. You're like a Hot Pocket. You're so done.
I think, because I don't even think that the points I could win from getting the right amount of games would be enough to cover it.
The maximum you could win would be what? 4. quick
But
math,
we all
6,
have.
yeah.
Some of us have the same.
That's true. So.
Like some of us, we have 7-game series. We have some of the same. So like I don't even. I think no matter what, I need at least one of the two to win to have a shot. I think I could survive with one of being wrong on one.
You could, well,
Especially
you
if
could survive
the
with
Cavs.
Rockets.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could survive with the Rockets. If the Cavs lose at some point, I don't see it with Indiana. If they lose, really, the game for you is the conference semifinals with Toronto and the Cavs. That's going to be a huge series. You're going to be riding that.
PJ Tucker, I need you to show up big time.
You need 7 shoes. 7 shoes.
I will personally pay for them if I have
You're
to.
going all in on Peach. Never been to the playoffs.
I'll be sending you a tweet after this, PJ Tucker.
All right, so
Hit
let's
us up, Peach.
let's go to the NBA playoff finals. Warriors and Cavs. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We've reached the penultimate crux of the playoffs.
Yes.
Warriors and Raptors, yes.
Warriors, Raptors, Warriors, Cavs. Gary Boucher. How many games? Now, how about let's do this? Each of us go with our game amount.
Okay.
Gary,
6 games.
5.
I've got 6 as well. Gary, we didn't confer on this.
We haven't. This happens a lot where we have like the same Rotten Tomatoes score.
That's true.
Same amount of games in a series. What's going on, man?
I don't know. Well, let's see who wins this
What's
finals.
going on?
Plot twist, they're the same person.
I have not drank 3 beers each episode.
Just so everyone knows, the reason why this is a podcast and not video is because this is Philip just doing 2 different voices.
That's true.
Well.
Gary's not even here. He hasn't been here the whole time.
He's really still at Starbucks.
Still closing.
All right, 6 games. Who do you got coming out, Gary?
I have
Da-da-da-da-da.
Golden State winning
Oh!
at 6. This is a difference between who I want to win and
Right.
who will win realistically.
want to win?
I want Cleveland to win. LeBron is my favorite player right now. Ever since Steve Nash retired, he's taken
That might be the
that
worst take I've ever heard
spot.
in my entire life.
LeBron is a saint. He is.
I'm not even a LeBron hater. I just don't.
He's
think
nowhere
that he's
near the
not my
gaudy
favorite.
status of PJ Tucker.
That's accurate. That's a fact.
All right, so you got.
I mean, I think after last year and even the finals before that, and just the crazy run he's had, he's just so full of class. I love the guy. But with a healthy Golden State team, even with an unhealthy Golden State team, but especially if they have all those pieces, they're just going to be too much for Cleveland. Cleveland has limped. In my bracket, they've kind of limped through these playoffs. And they've played some tough teams, as the East is always full of tough teams, and they come to the showtime.
I tried to let you live on that one.
Come on. The East is gritty. It's physical.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Last year they literally swept the
2 of their
first 2, and then they played 6 games.
Toronto, and they gave one up just for Kevin Love.
What?
The Cavs last year they swept 2 of their.
Oh, and
opponents.
then because
And then for Toronto in the finals, they gave
is
up a game
different.
to incorporate.
this is a Cavs team that's been limping. This
Yes,
is the All-Star break.
fantastic.
They're not going to win a series against Golden
And-
State in the NBA Finals.
All right, fair enough. And just so everybody, also as an aside, we are not accounting for injuries. If injuries happen, injuries
I
happen.
freaking hate injuries.
So if
In the
PJ Tucker
playoffs-
goes down,
PJ Tucker goes down, I will literally cry.
who's the most valuable? Is PJ Tucker a detrimental loss to them than Kyle Lowry or DeMar DeRozan, or is it literally if PJ Tucker goes down, forget it?
Yes. If PJ Tucker goes down, forget
They
it.
have
Actually,
nobody to
Because
lock
they
down
will,
LeBron.
they will have. That's the thing. He might not be the most important offensively, but if he goes down, they legitimately will not be able to guard anybody.
Okay,
Nobody.
fair enough.
Kyle and
Kyle Lowry or
DeMar,
DeMar can at least give you that offense loss.
they can give you offense, and they can, for the most part, slow Kyrie down.
right.
But
We're going to have a LeBron.
no one's.
Ibaka,
Damari Carroll
we're
is not
have
going to
on
slow
Love.
down LeBron like PJ can. Ibaka can just stand in the paint and hope that that's enough, but that's all he'll be able to do. And clearly, since the last time he tried doing that, it didn't work. Throw it back to the Thunder Heat finals a few years ago. That's just he can't.
I'll
They
give you-
need PJ.
I'll give you another prediction to close mine out. Kevin Durant, Finals MVP.
Excellent.
When he's on the floor for Golden State, he's the best player on their team.
Oh, fantastic.
So I think he shows up and gets a little bit of revenge.
I'm actually going to go Klay Thompson, Finals MVP.
So then you're giving away that the Warriors win in what was it?
I have 5. Raptors, PJ Tucker's going to be so tired. He will finally run out of
So
energy.
this whole episode, you've been building up. He never runs out of energy.
Here's the thing,
he is going through 7 shoes a minute, and he will not let me down.
He will.
Here we go to the finals.
He can only.
He's going to be so tired.
He will be so tired, and he'll still be able to
Oh
play
my
defense, but he's not going to be able to play lockdown, like LeBron lockdown defense. And even if he did, he can only play it on one player.
So who's he going to be guarding?
I would
Maybe
assume Kevin Durant.
Kevin?
No, he would guard, I would assume, Kevin Durant. They probably put Ibaka on Draymond. But that's the thing is, even if he were to lock down, even though he wouldn't lock down Durant, he'd probably just slow him down.
Uh-huh.
I love here. I'm just putting this all in context. Like PJ Tucker, who's he gonna guard in the finals? PJ Tucker's in the finals.
PJ Tucker's gonna be in the finals, and that's you won't need. Curry will guard himself. He hasn't played good in either of the finals.
That was the entire plan for the Cavs last year. It's just whoever's being guarded by Curry, he shoots.
Yeah. And then, Curry wasn't even good offensively on both of the finals.
No.
So I think, the year they won, they had Iggy as the MVP.
That was the most ridiculous.
No, I agreed with it. It's just
LeBron should have won that MVP final.
Nah, I'm a firm believer in if you do not win, you do not get the MVP.
That is just despicable.
Maybe he should win.
Maybe he had no help.
Doesn't matter. Maybe he should have won.
Oh my. Okay. Here's my NBA Finals. The Cavs will win in 6. Just like Gary, it's.
You have Cleveland in 6.
I have Cleveland winning in 6.
That's what I want, but that's just my heart.
My heart says Cleveland, and I cannot put it in myself to root against my heart. I will be disingenuous unto myself. So I have to root for the Cavs, and I can't be half in one camp, half in the other. So I'm going with Cavs in 6. By the way, if Warriors and Cavs make it to the finals, truthfully, I don't think I will care that much who wins because I know I will not be the one who lost. So that's as long as it's those two in the finals, I will be fine. If the Raptors make it with the Warriors,
we're done.
No, I'm done because that means that my winner is not even there. You at least have a chance for the Warriors to, and you'll squeak past me.
I'm telling you, man, Raptors, Memphis.
Wow.
I'm just saying, PJ Tucker. Come on, man. Just lock down LeBron.
We've never seen this guy in the playoffs. He could go for 50 a game.
Honestly, he's not going to run out of energy. So
he's not going to run out of energy.
This guy is
until the finals.
Have you seen the movie Space Jam?
Yeah, yes, I have.
It's based on this year's playoffs with PJ Tucker
playing
Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
I thought maybe Bugs Bunny.
No,
because he was a good spot-up shooter.
PJ's got Michael Secret stuff.
Secret stuff.
He is Michael.
He is Michael Secret stuff. PJ's shoe sweat.
Is PJ Tucker's contract up after this year?
Who knows? Who cares?
He's probably.
Gary just looks at me with this horrified face of, how dare you, sir?
Cleveland will sign PJ Tucker if they can.
You know, I went to a Jared Dudley's kid's birthday party and I met PJ Tucker there. He was a really, really nice guy. He had a really loud voice.
Yeah,
he had the loudest voice.
He had so much energy.
Yeah, he was like, "Hey, it's time for the birthday party," and I was like, "Whoa!" I probably just
have you seen this small ball thing that Bleacher Report's been doing?
No.
What is?
They do these animated shorts called Small Ball, and it has like Draymond Green, and it has like Ben Simmons, and it has
doing what? What are they doing?
They're just like Paul George is like the captain of this team that they form,
voiceover,
and they play,
acting.
and they like play basketball. It's kind of funny, but like it's Draymond's like characters because he's high energy. So whoever does his voice actor just screams the entire time. Literally, that's all it does. He just screams. Come on!
And then he kicks all the other players on his way.
Yeah,
inappropriate, Gary.
And very inappropriate.
Sorry,
he did not kick him in the Lonzo.
Inappropriate, Philip.
Actually, I gotta write down my. All right, so just to recap, essentially, what it all comes down to is
PJ Tucker.
Is PJ Tucker in the conference semifinals, where we all have Toronto and the Cleveland Cavaliers. Depending on how that happens,
that is the series.
That is the
because
series
I think it's pretty straightforward that's gonna be what
I won't even care if that
semifinals
goes
is.
to a Game 7 as long as the Cavaliers win.
Yeah.
But if it does have to go to a Game 7, we all have to go and watch that
That's
series
going to be a
together.
big deal.
That's going to be a
Like in
huge-
Cleveland, I don't think we can get tickets to that.
No,
I was
don't-
saying
we'll
to
go
a place in Phoenix.
Yeah, we
They
will go
both
to
took me so seriously, even though I was laughing as I was finishing that statement.
Luke actually thought, oh, poor guy. No, we're not going to go to Cleveland. No.
Why would I ever want to go to Cleveland?
What's so cool about Cleveland? Cleveland
Literally
sucks.
nothing.
Cleveland.
Calm down there, Joakim Noah.
Cleveland rocks.
Who would go
All
on
right.
vacation to Cleveland?
So as long as Cleveland comes out, I will be fine.
Let's go, Tucker. Let's go.
We all clapped, even though two of us don't need him to advance.
No, Tucker.
So essentially, what we've established here is Gary's pretty safe. You more than likely will be the middle person paying for whatever happens. More than
How are
likely.
you going to come out and make that prediction?
Well, I'm just saying, you're either the middle person.
You guys
or
are
you will
both pretty
win.
vanilla, to be honest.
Well, we're both chalky. Let's be honest here. We're both being pretty chalky.
One of us had the guts to go big. I'm
and
probably
go
be going home too, but it's gonna be a blaze of glory.
That's not a trailblazer.
No, they're out in 4.
Yeah, they're out in 4.
Sorry, Dame.
5. I put 5.
Love you, fam.
All right, guys. So as the playoff predictions go on, we'll be updating, and after this podcast is released and dropped, I will be putting out the pictures of all 3 of our NBA playoff brackets, so that way you too can hold us accountable. Tweet at us, Facebook, comment, and keep us honest and destroy Luke when the Raptors go out against the Milwaukee Bucks.
I'm just saying, when the Raptors win, PJ Tucker better send me like some shoes or something.
Actually, we didn't account for that in the Toronto-Milwaukee series, but PJ Tucker's probably going to be on the Greek Freak.
Yeah, that means he's gonna be averaging like 2-2-2 with like 20 turnovers.
No, PJ Tucker's going to be averaging 2-2-2. 2 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 shoes.
I was going to say, we need to keep track of a PJ Tucker shoes tally.
Yeah, that's.
I'm not sure
Maybe that's the
if
final
it,
tiebreaker.
But
How
if
many
it's
shoes he used
but if
out
it's
there
the
playoff?
same shoe type,
Oh, does that count?
we wouldn't be. Well, no, we wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
We're going to have to get in contact with the Raptors media relations and see if we can get
I'll make some phone calls.
Yeah.
Sports journalist,
Cronkite.
everybody.
Cronkite's got your back.
I got some contacts.
All right.
Cronkite knows
Well, this has
all.
been a lot of fun, guys, and good luck. I, for one, do not want to lose this. I'm
Yes.
fine with either of the top 2 spots of either paying or I would exceptionally love to win. Which one are you most afraid of? Which penalty are you most afraid of, Luke?
I don't want to say because that will give ammunition to the winner.
Come on. We'll all say it, so that way it's all...
Okay, but see, I'm the one with the biggest risk.
Oh my gosh. So, Gary, why don't you start out so Mr. Scaredy PJ Tucker Pants won't go
I would,
first.
you know what? I don't want to get the face mask.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you have some hair, though, down there, so that's going to be, pulled out as well.
Yeah, and
And we're going full face. We're going under the chin.
that just scares me. Like, this is my face. Like,
Have
what
you
if-
seen those videos?
What if it goes terribly wrong?
Have you seen those videos of those girls, screaming as it's coming, ah!
I don't think they're doing it right. That's the problem.
Well, we're not going to do it right either.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
Gorilla glue.
Some Elmer's glue goes in that mix. Gary's going to take off half his chin.
Gorilla glue and some hot wax, and we'll see what happens.
Some hot glue. All right, Luke, which one are you most afraid of?
Luke's a hairy guy.
We know it's not the nails.
I am a very hairy guy.
Yes.
There you go. I have put the limit on it that it's one item, so theoretically it could be just one leg.
What about
As long as it's not the leg I had surgery.
what about one chest?
one nipple?
How about one?
I like to keep my nipples.
one body.
Are we allowed to say that?
Nipple? Areola?
Why would repeating it and then using a different word make it better?
I feel like if you say the one word, it's a biological statement.
What
as
a
opposed
gasm
to,
of a word right there.
Oh my gosh! Just essentially the whole 3/4 minute of the 1 hour mark. All right.
You didn't tell us.
Yeah.
What didn't I tell you?
Yeah, I know. He said waxing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But can we? I mean, let's be fair. No waxing hair.
No,
as far as on
on
top
the
of your
head,
head.
no.
I was about to say, that they can't
Yeah,
see
yeah.
you point to your
I
head,
know.
right?
That's why I had to pontificate further.
Nice.
Thank
verb.
you. I recovered. I PJ tucked my way back in.
Don't you dare disrespect PJ Tucker.
Tucker will tucker himself out before the finals. Thank you very
Cronkite.
much. And I, for myself, just right.
What does that even? I'm gonna tweet at PJ Tucker right now.
Cronkite coming in the clutch.
What time is it in Toronto?
Oh, he's probably up partying. I can
For me,
guarantee
I
it.
think
Never goes to sleep.
I'm most afraid. Oh, I just thought of the worst place to be waxed.
That's TV appropriate?
Yeah, armpit.
Ooh, ow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That would be very mean.
That'd be painful. But in spite of that, I still think I'm actually going to go with nails because where I go to work and I have a couple places that it's going to be seeming very unprofessional.
Yeah, I was
Ooh,
gonna say-
actually, I might not even be able to do nails because of where I work. I'm not allowed to have painted nails where I work
Well, you
at
better
Pizza
not.
Hut.
You better not lose.
I'm not going to because PJ Tucker will put the team on his back if he has to. Does PJ Tucker even have Twitter?
Yeah.
What's his handle?
At Tuckered Up?
At Peach.
Hate you.
At Cronkite.
Are you sure? Hey, I hate you all too. Do you know if he has a Twitter?
Of course he does.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Out in the first round. All right, from Philip Amarin and
That's not
Gareth
right.
Boucher, Luke Wright. This has been a lot of fun, guys.
Yes.
We will see you at the end of the NBA playoffs.
Good luck.
When PJ Tucker doesn't lift that title because he loses in the finals, but he'll be there.
Miles Leonard.
Good luck, gentlemen.
Salud.